MorningLine, everyone. On this Monday, my guest with us this morning is Senator Jim Tracy. It's good to have you on, sir. It's always
Glad
a
to
pleasure.
be here.
Haven't seen you in a while. We go back a ways.
Yes.
It's just nice to see you. He's a good man, and I think he's behind what I think is a very good idea. Legislation to increase the age where you can legally buy tobacco products to 21 in Tennessee.
That's right. That's pretty simple.
Okay. You think it'll save lives?
Save lives.
Ultimately save money, even though there may be some cost to the tobacco companies?
Correct. It'll save money for health cost, for sure.
All right, let's take a few phone calls waited through the break and see what folks think. And the lines are open if you want to jump in. and invite you to offer a suggestion, question, comment, whatever. Let's go to Joe. Joe, good morning.
Good morning, Nick.
Hey, Joe.
Mr. Tracy.
Good morning.
I applaud you for putting this bill before the legislator. Good luck with getting by the tobacco lobby on this bill. They're going to fight this tooth and nail, as you well know, probably.
I do. I know they will. But, you know, if people like you, and I just believe the average citizen out there, if they stay involved and if they'll contact their legislators, I just believe we can. It just makes sense. I don't know how they want to defend this, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do you like the idea, Joe?
I like it very much. I've never been a smoker and don't like to be around people that smoke. So good luck with it. And you know, I find it hard to believe that people don't understand what tobacco does to your health.
Yeah. Well, I mean, young people smoke it because they think it's cool. They still see it sometimes in the movies. I think one thing that hit me just now about the age change, I have a 15-year-old son, and, you know, obviously we preach to him not to smoke, and neither of his parents smoke. But I'm wondering, you know, I can control him to some degree until he's 18. He still lives under our, once he's 18, he's an adult at that point. And if he wants to say, Dad, I'm going to smoke cigarettes, and let's say he's taken off to college, and I don't want him to, and maybe I can cut him off. But, I mean, he can do that because they're legal. And he's 18. You push it to 21, those 3 additional years of if he follows the law and doesn't break it and he still thinks about smoking, 3 additional years of maturing. By the time he's 21, maybe at that point he'll be smart enough to say, I'm not going to do it. Do you believe there's that big of a change between an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old, that an 18-year-old who really wants to smoke but says, well, I've got to wait 3 years because it's illegal, by the time they're 21, they'll realize, I don't think I want to do this now?
I think so. I think not all of them.
There's more maturing in that 3 years.
That's correct.
Because you're leaving your high school years to college. There's a lot of maturing that comes in.
Plus, it'll hopefully save those 14, 15, 16-year-olds that are getting their tobacco from the 18-year-olds.
Well, that's the other good point. So yeah, you hit on that again. Part of this component is a bunch of youngsters that are getting the tobacco already illegally. Right?
Correct. Unless you use your son, he gets 18, he decides he wants to try an e-cigarette.
Yeah.
And he goes out with his buddies, and he's got 2 buddies that are 17. They're passing it around.
Yeah.
I mean, they just are.
No, you're right. And they think, and so there's a lot of younger kids that are smoking.
So how many of those 16, 17-year-olds will have 21-year-old friends?
Mm-hmm. You know, come to think of it, there's some school, my son, and some other schools, there's almost like they know, well, there's an area where the kids go to smoke. Not that's sanctioned by the school. But there, you know how it is. There's a section in the field at at recess, where you know the people. That's happening. Boy, you start smoking at 16. Good luck kicking that habit. Let's go to Paul. Paul, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Nick.
Hey, Paul.
Good morning, Senator Tracy, sir. How you doing?
Good morning, Paul. Doing great.
Good to talk to you, buddy. Look, Senator Tracy, I'm an old Jim Sassa, Al Gore, Tennessee Democrat. But I'll say this, sir, I've followed you in politics forever, and you one of them on the right that I certainly respect.
High
Nick.
praise from Paul. Paul's as liberal
tough,
as, well, I mean, he's tough.
Well, yeah, but I'm going to tell you what, Nick, Senator Tracy is one of the finest fellows that was ever around this part of the country. I followed Senator Tracy forever, and I'm applauding him that he's leading this charge to raise the age for the people, for the kids to get cigarettes. Look, Nick, I was born and raised in Williamson County. My daddy and my granddaddy raised tobacco. I raised tobacco on up to I was 17 years old, and everybody back in raised it. I've done everything from the process to raising tobacco to getting it to the sale bar and everything. And I grew up and I never smoked because I hated it. My daddy smoked, and I seen what it done to him, and my ex-wife smoked, and I seen what it done to her, Nick. It does, and I'm telling people out there, please quit if you can, because it is detrimental to your health. It really is. And once again, Senator Tracy, I applaud you, sir, and God bless you, and thank you for doing this, bud.
Well, thank you, Paul, for those kind comments. And yeah, so you've stripped tobacco and everything. I've worked a little bit on a tobacco farm with my degree in agriculture. So, and you know, when I was starting my career as an extension agent in Murray County, a lot of tobacco was grown in Murray County at that time. And so, but it's still the right thing to do. And you're right, Nick. If someone at age 21, if they decide that's what they want to do, they want to smoke or use tobacco products, they can. But I think if they're not addicted to it by then, many of them will choose not to do it.
I agree. Let's go to Mary. Mary, good morning.
Good morning, Nick.
Hello, Mary.
Before I start with the smoking, I have to say, I watched you Friday, and bless your heart, how you changed hats and all that.
Yeah.
I was so glad that when you finally got one that was warm.
Yes.
Well, Mary, he likes that. Nick likes that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
he loves it.
I like being out in the middle of it. I don't like being that cold. And I did. I changed hats every live shot.
Right.
Yeah, I finally found a warm one. You're right. You're right, Mary. But thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I hope you stayed safe.
You're a real trooper, I have to say.
Okay. Thanks.
Are you there?
Yeah, go ahead. What about the cigarettes?
Okay. I just wanted to say that young people that if they would stop and think, they like girls and all that, and nobody that doesn't smoke likes the smell of it. They don't like it in your clothes, and they don't want to kiss you. You know what they say about like licking an ashtray.
Yeah.
So I just saying it's the health aspect alone, but young people, they have to think more in other terms, and being the big guy, you know, following their peers.
I agree with you. I mean, I don't know. I've tried to follow. I'm thinking about movies where you still see smoking in movies by movie stars, and that can push it. And you remember Arnold Schwarzenegger in a lot of his movies years ago. It's always a big cigar in his mouth. So it makes it cool. I wonder if the status has changed a bit for cigarettes in this country. It seems like it has.
I think it has. You know, back in the older movies, a lot of the movie stars did smoke. Not now as much.
Yeah, I mean, you would like to see, you know, some of the. I guess if it fits the period. I understand a movie has to be realistic, but otherwise, I'd like it when the actors say, "No, I'm not going to smoke," just because you think that adds effect to it.
So Mary's philosophy is for the boys: if you want to be able to meet the girls, don't smoke. That's her philosophy, and she's right. That does smell. It's a very nasty habit.
But let me ask you this then, and you and I are far removed from this time, but what other reason? Why do you think young people start to smoke?
I think it's peer pressure. I think you're right. I think
You think it's cool?
It's cool. It gives them something to do, and it's cool, and they don't realize at that young age that they can be addicted to it. They don't realize the health issues of it. It's just a cool thing to do.
And the addiction can happen fairly quickly. I mean, you talked about how your father, you know, broke you of the cigarettes when you were a very small child.
That's
One
right.
cigarette. But I mean, really, you just smoke a pack or two, or you start messing with it before you know it. Boom.
You're addicted, and it gives you that jolt or whatever.
And you miss it when it's not there. And there are people, you remember my good friend who used to co-host the show with me, Larry Britton, years ago.
I remember
Larry, years ago, did smoke. He was a regular smoker. He was one of those rare individuals that finally realized, what on earth am I doing? And he quit cold turkey. Now, not everyone can quit cold turkey, period. Or they try and they get back on it. There's people that work at this station that have issues with cigarettes, and this station, you know, has an insurance policy where you're paying a higher premium if you're a smoker.
Correct.
Okay.
Health insurance.
And they have families and budgets. Money's tight for all of us, and they still can't quit. And it's not because they're bad people. It's just the addiction is that horrible.
Well, what does it do for your work hours? All of a sudden you're working and it hits you. You got to go take a break. You got to get your nicotine fixed.
Some of these state offices next to us and the like, I'll walk out to get in the news car to head out, and it'll be freezing out. And there'll be these people out in this little smoking area in the back just sitting there. Well, you guys all know what I'm talking about on that, how difficult it is to quit. So the idea is to keep from starting.
They need to borrow one of your hats.
Well, yeah, I suppose the hat might help. I got a lot of those. Listen, we'll take a break on that note. When we come back, more of your phone calls, 737-7587. I want to ask you a little more about what it's like going up against the tobacco lobby, if you would. I mean, you think of big lobbies, powerful ones, you think of tobacco, you think of the NRA, you think of some of these others, and how you have to deal with that. So we'll take a break. Be back with more right after this.